Okay, thank you guys for coming. Here we are at the Spader Ranch up in Rosendale, Missouri, and got some good friends gathered up, and we're going to work with one of the baby colts here that hasn't been worked with before, and maybe show you guys a little bit about some groundwork. We want to thank our sponsor, which is MLS Tubs, and they're going to be giving away some tubs today, and you can check them out at MLS.com, MLStubs.com, excuse me, and they got some great product there that we're going to be talking about, and you guys will get to see some of that. So I'll kind of show you a few things that we do starting out with a baby horse or any age horse really that hasn't been worked with much before. Somebody said it was raining today. I don't really notice too many things like that. If I can help it, I just kind of go do what needs to be done. So we're going to work with this little baby for a few minutes here and get him started, and we'll go from there. Hope you enjoy it. So a couple things that we kind of do starting out. There's a lot of things that we want to think about when it comes time to working a horse that hasn't been caught before. So you can see these horses are friendly, and I assume it's been petted a little bit and been kind of scratched on, but never had a halter on it or a rope around it or anything like that. So a lot of times I'll do a demonstration with a baby like this, or like a young horse that hasn't been caught, and it'll be in a pen or a round pen, and we'll rope it and then start from there. Because sometimes that's the way you need to get a hold of a horse. Well, that's good, but I also know that from a lot of people that I talk to, for them, they kind of say, well, that doesn't really help me because they don't really rope a lot, or they don't throw a rope a lot, or that's something they're not really comfortable with or not really experienced with. I'm not the best roper in the world, but I can usually get it to go around where I want it to go. But so today I thought we might kind of go in a little smaller area here and maybe make it just a little bit more realistic for some of the people, the way that they might work some babies at home, the people that don't work on a ranch and do a lot of this cowboy type stuff on their own. So we kind of have them in a small area here, and we'll get the rope around the horse and then we'll go from there. I do like using a rope first, a lariat rope first, rather than just trying to put a halter on the horse, because there's less for the horse to pull against and brace against with just a single strand around the horse's neck, rather than having 4 sides all around the halter when we start out. So that's why we'll kind of go and do what we're doing. I may end up having to toss the rope over it, but we're in a small enough area here where I might just be able to scratch on him and just set the rope over him, kind of nice and smooth. We'll see how it works out. And then what I'll do next is we'll probably do that, and then we'll get the mare, we'll move her over out of the way so they can still see each other, but so we're not going to get kind of caught up in between. So I'll talk you through. I'll talk you through it as we're going, and we'll kind of see how things go here. I'll move this mare back just a little bit. And before I go to do much with the baby, I'll just make sure that things are untied here. So whatever happens, the chances of something getting hung up go down a little bit, and we don't have as much going on. So there's nothing wrong with starting out kind of thinking that, hey, first thing I'm going to do is get this horse to be able to pay attention to me. So as I move the mare around, see, the little colt is pretty curious. He'll come up and look. Is this a little filly or a stud colt here? It's a stud colt. Nice little colt, looks like, and he's paying attention. He's interested in what I'm doing, but he's not too scared, but he's not pushy either. So I might just kind of pay attention over here and see if he'll take a look at me over here, like this, and I'll just do a little bit, and I'll just see if I can get his attention, but not scare him. Just say, hey, what are you doing there? And I'll just do a little bit and say, hey, I know you're interested in that grass there. See him take a look at me, and he steps his little hindquarters over just a little bit right before he did that. So we have that left side, okay? So now it'd be ideal to see if we can get the right side. So I'll just move the mare a little bit here. And as I move this mare, I'll work on, see the little colt just kind of gave me his right side as I was going here. So I might just step her back a little bit to say, hey, don't go over there so much. Now he's checking out Hank over there. It's no problem. Hank's just going to be helping me out here in a minute, so he's ready. So I'm just going to play around here a little bit and see if I can get that colt to look at me out of its right eye this time. See, there's the left eye again. And I'll just move the mare back a little. See him look out of his left eye again. That's good. Now I'm just going to come over to this side and say, hey, what about your right eye just a little bit? I'm just going to work at that. Say, hey, see how this side on this right side isn't quite as smooth for him? See, he wants to turn and look out of his left eye again. See, he hadn't quite looked at me out of his right eye yet, but he's thinking about it. There, right there. He just took a look out of his right eye. See, then his hindquarters go, and then he steps over. So that's a good place to start. And it doesn't really matter how we start. We just need to get the horse to pay attention. So to get him to pay attention, and see, like with this mare, see, I'm not going to tie her up solid now because I don't want the colt to run through there or run in between there. But I'll just kind of do some things by moving that mare around to kind of get things a little more ready. So there's a couple things that I'm going to start kind of working on. And what I'm going to work on is trying to get that horse to pay attention here. Not try to block it or keep it anywhere specific, but just try to say, hey, see if you can pay attention to me a little bit here. So I just do a little bit more. And now it's kind of going to look over that way. I just do a little bit more and say, hey, look over here. Look over here. And I'll just do a little bit, not to try to scare him off, but to try to say, hey, what about looking at me? And then he says, yeah, there you are. So he takes a look at me, and that's kind of what we're after. So as my friend Tom Pearson said once, when you're working with a baby, if they're not interested in you, you might have to become more interesting. But what we do is we try to become more interesting without scaring the horse. Now the horse might get scared at some point, but I'm not trying to scare him. He found another horse to talk to there. See how he gave his hind quarter, and then he stepped back. And the mare's kind of saying, hey, I'm not sure what's going on, but maybe you should come back over here because things might not be safe. So the little colt's saying, well, I should probably listen to Mom, but I'm kind of curious as to what's going on with this other guy and this rope and all those people watching. So he's got plenty of confidence. I don't try to scare him too much there. He takes a look out of his left eye again. I'd love to get him to look out of his right eye one more time before we do anything else. It might happen, it might not. But if I can get that to happen once, I'm better off. So I might just block him here if I can. Say, hey, why don't you go that way? There. Whoop. See how instead of looking out of his right eye, he just took off. So now he's got a chance to look at me out of his right eye. There it is, right there. He kind of came back towards his mother, but he came to look at me a little bit too. His mother's over there saying, hey, what are we doing here? No big deal, no problem, all right? I'll tell you what, Hank, why don't you open that gate? Let's take both of them in there, in that little pen. So we're just going to, now that we've got a little bit done, we're just going to move them into this little smaller spot. And then we'll probably end up kind of moving the mare back and forth a couple times, seeing kind of where we're at. Okay, you can shut it. Now you can. So I'll just kind of play around here for a minute and see where we end up. So what I want to do, the point here, is to get the little horse where I can touch him and he's okay. Now in the beginning, obviously what you can do is work on getting the horse to where he's kind of paying attention to and you can touch him. And he's not necessarily feeling like he has to run away from you everywhere he goes. So I'll put enough pressure on him like that to get him to pay attention. And then I'll kind of say, hey, it's all right, you don't have to worry about it. Now, you know, we've all been around this mare quite a bit, and we've moved her around, and notice when I'm working on getting behind her, I'm kind of touching, and of course I'm talking, so she kind of knows where I'm at and what I'm doing. I don't sneak up there behind her when she's not paying attention. So if she's looking off in front of her, over there to her left, I kind of go like this and scratch her. She looks at me out of her right eye and her right ear, and then I come on around like this. Then she can see me, I scratch her here, she looks at me out of her left eye. See, it's the same thing I'm doing with the baby, it's just a little different idea. So now the mare's kind of knowing where I'm at and knowing what I'm doing. And that's kind of a good place for us to start. And of course I make sure that the mare is okay with all this stuff, and she's been through some of this stuff before, to say the least. So I kind of work on doing some of this stuff with her and making sure that things are okay before I go to doing too much. And then she looks at me there. See, the little colt saw that rope moving and saw me all of a sudden, and he thought, boy, I better get out of here. So it's no problem. I'll just kind of move things around. So, once again, there's no problem with just saying to the horse that, hey, I'm just going to work on petting you and scratching you and touching you. But there's also nothing wrong with the idea. See, like right there, he kind of backed into me and it scared him a little bit. But I don't make a big deal out of that. I didn't go, if I would have jumped away and moved real fast, then the colt would have gotten more scared rather than less scared. But I just kind of stood my ground. He wasn't trying to hurt me. He stepped on the tip of my boot a little bit, no big deal. That's the kind of things that happen. I just try to get myself in a spot where he's going to be okay and he's paying attention. See him how he's about to look at me out of that left eye. He's not quite sure if he should. There's another horse in front of him. I just do a little bit to say, hey, come over here. Come over here. There. See him take a look at me there? That's a good place to start. Okay. So I just kind of put that rope around him there real soft, and I just let him wear it. I don't pull on it. I don't do anything with it. I just kind of leave it on his back there. I mean, across his back, his withers, his shoulders, across his neck, wherever it is. I just let him have a hold of that. Let him kind of wear it for a second. It's no problem. Okay? So now, notice I've still got the mare to where if this colt were to jump through there and get his feet or his head over that rope, then the rope is loose. It's going to come down on the ground. She's not tied up or he can get himself in a jam here. So everything I'm doing, I just kind of wait there. Now, if I can get that rope just a little bit higher up on his neck, that's fine. But it might not work out right away that way. That's no problem. He puts his little head down a little bit. It gives me a chance to move it. There. But see how he starts to pull away? And see, I just touched that rope. Then I'll let him move. Now, Hank, you want to come back and we'll open this gate up. We'll put him in that little bigger pen there. I think we'll just leave the mare in here for now. So what that means is we'll just slowly let the colt go that way once he opens that gate. And he may not go that way. The mare may come first. That's fine. Now you can shut it so the mare goes in there. Shut that gate just a little bit there if she comes that way. And we'll leave it alone. My rope gathered up a little here. See how every time that colt goes to spinning around there, I just let go of that rope. So he can step through it, step over it, it's no problem. I'll let him wear it. And you see how I just barely pick up the rope? And I'd make a little bit of commotion here. Say, hey, look at me. Look at me. So I'm saying look at me with my left hand by kind of banging around here a little bit. Just a little bit, not to scare him. Just to say, hey, what about this? I don't pull on it. I just kind of take the slack out of it. See him look at me out of that left eye. Now wait, there. He's thinking about going, but see, I'm not going to try to stop him there. Because see, that would be, there. See him, hey, he's thinking about coming back? I just pick up that rope real soft and wait. There, see him look over at me there? That's a good place to start. Now we're on the other side. And I let go of it when he starts to pull. So he doesn't learn to pull against me. Now I wait right here. I take the slack out of that rope. I just do a little bit. I say, hey, what about over here? What about over here? I just do a little bit. I say, hey, what about over here? He's like, well, I just want to brace against that because that's what everything inside of me says to do. Because he's thinking inside that everything naturally, all of his instincts are telling him brace against that pressure. Don't give in to it. So I wait, give him a little chance to come my way. I just wait. See how there, see him come with that left eye? Now I just kind of wait, say, there you go. Now we're going to work on this side over here. Real soft. I say, hey, what about over here? What about over here? I just do a little bit there. See him look at me out of his right eye. Now I do a little more. And he's like, well, my mom's over there, and she seems upset, so maybe I should be upset. So I just keep offering it to him. See right there, I can't pull on him, because then he'd learn to pull against me. So I wait, no problem. See, I touched him with the rope on that hind quarter. He thought, well, there's a good reason to run back to mom. That's no problem. I'll just wait on him here a little bit. I'll wait on his hind quarters. And see, the mare's just kind of like, hey, I don't know what's going on here. See right there, I take the slack out of that rope and I wait. And I try not to let him spin through that if I can help it. There. See how he went to the right that time? Better than him spinning through that and ending up on the left. So I just wait until he pays attention there. See him give his hindquarter that time and come around. And see, I'm not doing anything real specific. I'm just being real careful. Because see, the rest of this horse's life, here's what it should be about. What it should be about is the horse learning to give when he feels something. Not the horse learning to brace against something. Not pushing on me. But see, if I stop him right there real hard, then he actually learns to pull against me. There. See him thinking about coming this way? I'm waiting. I haven't quite got his eye yet, but he's thinking about it. So I'm just waiting on him to pay attention here. Say, hey, look over here. Look over here. Pay attention. He's like, well, what if I go over there? And I say, sure, that's fine. See, he's got to have time to try things. See, I do just there. See him give his hindquarter? He still hasn't quite paid attention, but he's getting pretty close. When I say paid attention, I mean he hasn't quite looked over here out of his right eye, but he's getting pretty close. Now I let him go back over to his mom, and I just wait on him here. See how he's giving his hindquarter now? See, instead of him just turning left and going back to his mom, he just kind of came over here. And see, we let that mare go like that, and she's got some wasp bothering her there a little bit. She went to bothering that gate, and they started bothering her back. It's no problem, but that's why we didn't leave her tied up, see? Now she's got that rope down, but she's not going to hurt herself too bad. See, he's trying to figure out how to get away from that rope, but you see, I just let go of it so he never learned to push on it and pull on it. See, then it touches him on the hindquarter, and he's thinking, whoa, I'll just let him walk through that. That's no problem. See, I just kind of take my time and work things out and let him figure out how to work them out. So see, the last few times we worked on which side? The right one. So now we're going to work on the left. Okay? So I just work on this left side and say, hey, come over here. There, see him take a look. Now he's not going to give his hindquarter very well here because he's already up against that fence. So he's going to have to move a little bit in order to give his hindquarter. And see, slowly, as he goes to walk away, I'll start putting a little bit of pressure there, but I don't pull hard. I just take the slack out and wait on his hindquarter like that. See his hindquarter start to give? So when I say his hindquarter gives, what you're seeing is his hindquarters are stepping to his right if I'm drawing his nose to the left. So there he kind of went through me. I didn't get over there quick enough to stop him, so I didn't make a big deal about it. So I just wait for his hindquarter to go to his right and him to come to his left with his head and his eyeball, which means his brain is coming this way. So I don't pull hard, I just do just enough to say, hey, change your mind just a little bit. There, see him take a look? Like that? That's a good place to go. Now, I'll let him walk just a little. Say, hey, there. Now I'll see if I can get a little bit of a change here. See, I'm not pulling real hard. I'm just kind of waiting. I'm just kind of waiting on him to come this way. There. See how he came that way mentally? So then I kind of wait. There. I just wait on him a little bit. See, I don't want him to think push against me. Now I can stop him once if I need to and wait. If I had to stop him, I could. See, hindquarter and then release him. But see, as soon as he gave his hindquarter, I gave that up. So when I just showed you that once because I wanted you to see what you might do if you were in a bigger open pen. See, you might stop him once and make sure he's giving his hindquarter. Here, wait, hindquarter, release it right away. But see, if you just hold that and make him stay here, then he learns to push against you. But if you just wait for him to learn how to stay, then he can learn how to stay. See, I just wait there. And see the way this rope works out, there, he gives a little bit, I let him go and it loosens up, see? Now, I just step over this way. Say, hey, what about coming this way? I do just enough. Say, hey, come on, move your feet. Now I do just enough. I try to wait and do just enough. Wait for that. There's the hind quarter. Leave it alone. Now, let's go over here and say, there. There's the hind quarter. Now let's go this way. See, this is just like when you go to ride him later and you pick up your left rein. So you draw his left rein to the left right here. When you do that, he should give his hind quarter and pay attention to your left side. See how he's bracing against it? I just wait. I just wait a second. I just wait a second. There's the hind quarter right there. Now let him go. Now we do it again. So we go over here this way. I say, hey, what about this way? Just a little bit. Just a little bit. Now wait. There. See him pay attention? I let him go. So I'll do just enough to say, go ahead and move. There's the hind quarter, like that. So what I'm doing here, these are the things that, there, see him kind of relax there a little bit and lick his lips. So that's a good thing. Let him have a little break there. So see, these are the things that I'm doing with older horses all the time when people call and say, I'm having trouble with my horse that won't load in a trailer. So I show up and I do this. Now, I might do it with a halter because they already have a halter on it. So first we have to get the horse given his hind quarter. What we mean by giving his hind quarter is when you draw on that left side, whether you have a rope around his neck, a halter on his head, or a bridle rein on, when you pick up that left rein, he should give his hind quarter and pay attention to the left. When you draw on the right, he should give his hind quarter, pay attention to the right. After a little while, you work on the forward part. Then you work on the backward part. So we're always trying to control his hind quarter, or getting him to give his hind quarter to the pressure of this rope. As those things start to happen, the horse gets more confident in the way that he's being asked to move. So the way that the horse is asked to move should be in a way that makes sense to the horse. So on the left side, I firmed up a couple times and stopped him when he was bracing against me. But I don't pull hard to try to get anything done. I try to just do enough to get him to think left side. So see right here, I do just enough there. Now I do a little more. I do just enough to say, hey, pay attention on the left side, like that. So we have his mind coming when he's doing that, but we don't have his feet yet. And we always need his mind and his feet. So right here I wait. There's his mind. We didn't get his feet. Now his feet stopped as far as they didn't push against me. But if I'm not careful, what he's going to learn there is how to just lock up. There's his feet. A little more. Now let's do a little more. So see, now the horse is learning something new. In his life, he's learning, hey, I guess I don't brace against everything I feel, but he's never had anything around him like that there. See the hind quarter step over to his right as he was looking to his left. That's a good place to start. He keeps thinking about whether he can pee or not, but he can't quite decide if he should relax that much and become that vulnerable because of all these things that are going on. So that's a good thing that he's starting to get that way. If he was real bothered, he wouldn't do that right now. When I say bothered, I mean if he was real upset or nervous or scared or anxious about the fact that this rope's around his neck and all these things. But you see, everything we've done here, none of it is creating anxiety in this little horse. None of it is creating issues or creating a spot where he can pull against me. Every now and then a horse will pull against you, but your job when you're working with horses, especially young horses or green horses, your job is to make sure they don't pull against you. So when the horse tries to pull against me like he did a minute ago, I just fed him some rope so he couldn't pull against me. And then, through time, he'll learn not to pull against me. He'll learn to give his feet. Now, don't get me wrong. There's a time when a horse can learn that there's an end to the rope, and they can be tied up, and you can be tied up solid. There, see him give his hind quarter, like that, and then I wait and leave him alone. See, the left side he has just a little more trouble with. I just do a little bit there. See how he's thinking about giving the hind quarter, but he's not quite with me. So I just do a little and say, hey, come on, move your feet. Move your feet. There. See him give the hind quarter, and then he's paying attention there. So that's where we start with all these things. Now let's go back to the right side a couple times and get that right side. Say, hey, what about coming over here? See, he wants to pull on me there a little bit, so I let go of him a little sooner. Now I just take the slack out of that rope and say, hey, give me that hind quarter, like that. He gives me the hind quarter, I'll leave him alone. Now let's see if we can say, hey, don't run to your mom this time. See if we can get him to stay here with us if he wants to go that way. So right here, I just wait on him. There's the hind quarter, almost. Whoop. See, now he's like, well, what if I pulled against you? I just wait. There's the hind quarter, I leave him alone. Now I wait a little more. He's like, well, I'll just brace against it. So I just wait, say, hey. There, see, he's thinking about looking this way. He's just not quite convinced yet. So I just do a little more. Sometimes it works a little better if I'm on the side he wants to be. See, I wait for him to give his hind quarter. I wait for him to give his hind quarter. I wait for him to give his hind quarter, and he'll figure out, hey, I don't brace against that if I don't have to. See, he's going to find out there that there's a place to go. But that's not the first thing I did. I waited. I just keep giving him the benefit of the doubt to give over this direction if I can. And I say, here, come on. See, he leans against that rope and he kind of finds out that, hey, that restricts my air a little bit. So I try not to let him lean against it for very long. I have to kind of help him figure out here how to give that hind quarter. Whoop, you almost had it. See, I don't make it too uncomfortable there. I wait for him to kind of quit bracing with his, there's his hind quarter. Leave him alone. So the way this is happening, the horse is making some little changes where he's starting to make the decisions whether he wants to brace against something or give to something, right? See, horses will never learn to brace against us if we don't teach them how to do that. So I just wait for him just a little bit here. Say, here, look over here to your, there. See him give that hind quarter? And see, they're slight things. It's not a big thing. I'm not looking for him to make a big change. He needs to make a small change. Now I'll just step this way. I'll say, hey, what about your hind quarter on this side? I'll let him kind of figure out where I'm at. See how he braces up against that rather than, there's the, whoop, see, he just about made the change here to look towards his left and give his hind quarter. He's not quite convinced, but he's thinking about it. See, watch him figure out how to get out of this deal. See, in his mind, see that rope loosens up really good. There, see his hind quarter give? Now leave him alone. Say, there you go. Now, so all these things that happen are things that are going to happen. Now I'll just kind of send him the other way there. Say, here. So my job is to just help the horse through this stuff. What I mean is, him stepping over the rope or him doing things like that is just normal stuff that's going to happen when people go to work their horses. And they go try to catch a baby and put a halter on him for the first time or put a rope around him for the first time. See, now I just wait until he gives his hind quarter. I wait until he gives his hind quarter. I wait. I just add a little bit of energy to his body till he thinks about giving his hind quarter. I just wait on him. But see, he's in a spot here. I'm not forcing him. I'm not pulling him. I just do a little bit more. Say, come on, move your feet. Move your feet just enough. There. See, he's thinking about, well, my mom's on the left. You're on the right. I don't know if I know about that rope yet. So I just wait. I just kind of stop him a little bit with my right hand. I say, here, there's his hind quarter. And I leave it alone. Okay? So now he's starting to find out there's an end to that rope. And all he has to do is pay attention to it. And when he feels that rope on his hind quarter there, he can move if he wants. I'll just kind of help him move a little bit here. See, when he wants to go the wrong way, I'll try to say, no, that's not the way out, because I know you feel that pressure on that side. So see, there was a few times today when he kind of spun across me like he was about to do there. See, like right here, I don't want him going left because I'm already working on the right side. See, there's the right, like that. Now, we'll work on the other side. There. So now I'm working on that left side, and I'm going to try to do my best not to let him go right. Shut that gate a little bit. Shut that gate a little bit. Thank you. So now I'm working on this side. I don't want him going the other way. And see, he's starting to kind of come through a little bit to say, hey, that's not working as good. I'm waiting on the hind quarter there, but I don't brace against me. I don't brace against him when he's about to pull on me. I do just enough to get his hind quarter. Now I leave him alone. See, that time I got his hind quarter after the fact. So now I do just enough to say, hey, come over here. So he decided, well, I'm just going to go. I'm doing a little more. So he thought, there's his hind quarter. There. Now let's come to this side a little bit. So as he learns, see right there, he goes to go against me. I don't want him going right. So we started off on the other side. If I can help it, I want him to go the other way. No problem there. So it's important that he learns when he feels that rope to think to his left and to give his hind quarter. See, like on this side, I say, no, not the right. There's the left. There. And I just wait on him just a little bit. There, see him kind of pay attention there. That's good. Now let's see if we can get his hind quarter a little bit on this side. Let him figure out that he can't just push through everything that he feels. He's better off to actually just give his feet and not brace against things. He's better off to give to things. See his hind quarter. See the left hind quarter pretty braced up. So what we're waiting on is for him to learn to give that hind quarter. And see, every time he goes to leave, I try to say, hey, come here. But I try not to get in the timing where he can pull up and rear against me. I do just enough to try to get him to make a change there. There's the hind quarter. Wait for his hind quarter. See, I have to let go before he can jump in the air. In other words, I teach him how to jump in the air. So I'm waiting on the hind quarter. And then he's like, well, I ran into a post back there. No problem. There, that's a good change, right? See, I have to do just enough to say, here, what about your hind quarter? Remember that? We went over that a little bit. There's the hind quarter. See that little change there? And that's an important change. Now let's go on this side. Say, what about your hind quarter on this side? So he can move his feet if he wants. I don't stop him from moving. In fact, a lot of times I try to get him to move. So he kind of learns to, hey, you can move your feet. Now, I just wait. See, look at the right hind quarter now. But you can see both hind quarters. I don't want him coming this way. See, I had to change that there because he's coming the wrong way, see. So I have to go, hey, not this way, not this way, it's that way. It's that way, there. There, that was nice and soft. He didn't push against it. I just wait now to say, here, give me your hind quarter. Okay, so he kind of backed a little half circle there. No problem, I just wait. There's the hind quarters. A little better. So, now we'll go back to the left side for a minute. So I'm waiting on that left hind quarter now. You can see what's happening. See his left hind quarter, how it braces up, and then he gets stiff, and it braces up. No, not that way. Not that way. See, he's going the wrong way here. I'm like, no, that's not the way. It's over there. Watch the left hind quarter. See, it's braced up. There, it's just stepped over and gave. You see how the left hind quarter went to his right, and then stepped over and gave. So now, go to the other side. And see how that rope, when it touches him on the hind quarters now, it's not bothering him near as much as it did. Now we'll come over here and we'll just say here. Now look at there. I'm just waiting on this side here a little bit. I might have to help him. Say, hey, this isn't the way out. This isn't the way out. That's the way out, like that. Now I stop my hand, let him give his hind quarter. Now we're looking at the right hind quarter on this side. I think I said right hind quarter last time, but I meant left. You guys probably figured that out already because you're on top of it. There. See right there, I just have to say, hey, don't push against that. See, he feels it on that right side and he wants to brace against it and go left, which is very natural. That's what horses do. But he'll figure out that what we're looking for is for him to go to the right when he feels that pressure. Like that. Now I still wait on the hind quarter. Like that. So see how he started to leave? As soon as I stopped my hand, he stopped his feet, gave his hind quarter, looked over here. That's a good change. Now let's go to this side. See how he starts to brace against it pretty hard, right? Because his left hind quarter is braced up and it's ready to push him hard that way. See, people think the horse has a rearing problem sometimes because they work with a horse and the horse is popping up. But it's not a rearing problem. It's a hind quarter problem. What I mean by that is this horse doesn't have any problems at all. He's never been touched before. Any problems he has tomorrow is my fault. So I just wait on him to give his hind quarter here. I do a little more. I say, come on. Come on, move your feet. Come on, move your feet. I just tell him to move his feet. There's the hind quarter. Whoop, like that. See how he gave his hind quarter and then he kind of looked over here? That's what we're looking for. Took a big deep breath. He's all good. And see, this rope is nice and loose around his throat. Now, a couple times when he went to push against it, it kind of tightened up. As soon as he gave, it loosened right back up. But see, when a horse rears up in the air when they're being ridden, it's because the hind quarters are braced up, which is pushing the horse forward. Or when a horse is leaning out. You know, I did a lot of reining for a while and working cow horse where we'd lope a lot of circles and get ready to go show them, and people would always be talking about a horse that leans his shoulders in or leans his shoulders out. But what I found out was it's never the shoulders that has the problem. It's always the hind quarter that's pushing the shoulders that way, or the hind quarter that's pushing the horse's nose in a certain direction. And people are always worried about the nose, the head, the feet, things like that. This horse up and, you know, we could figure out a way to be stronger than him, you know, because he's little. But if I start forcing him now, then he'll learn to push through things as he gets older. Then he gets bigger and we've got problems. So I just move him a little bit here. I just wait on him. Say, hey, don't brace against me. But I don't pull hard enough to let him brace against me if I can help it. I try to go there. See his hindquarters give? And he looked over here. So now he's starting to think that, man, this maybe is more simple than I thought it was. So this is where a colt starts thinking, is it really this simple? Is it really that simple where all I do is give my hindquarters like that and not push against you? And I'm like, I kind of tell him, yep, it's really that simple. He says, well, man, I heard this was bad. Which really isn't true. They don't talk to each other like that. But you can imagine if horses did talk to each other, what they would say, right? About how sometimes the way people get one started and the way people get them broke, we could use the word broke, meaning, you know, get them where they have some experience in being ridden or halter broke or whatever we want to call it. See right here, he just needs to learn to, see I just wait there if I can. See, look at the left hindquarter like that. Good. But see, I tried not to force any of that, but there's a line there where I can go in and do just a little bit and say, hey, move your feet. Whoop. See right there, I was going to lose that, so I had to let go and start again. If I tried to hold that and then he learned to jump in the air, that's not going to help any of us, right? See right here, I just wait and say, come on, figure this out. You can just, there's room for you to give your hind quarter, like that. Now let's get this side again. And we say, hey, move your feet. Aha. See, that was a little better than last time, right? When he just took off forward. I still need to get a little hind quarter if I can. See, I try to draw when his feet are not in a place where he can push against me real hard. So when his feet are about to hit the ground, that's not the time to draw, then he can brace against me. I try to draw when they're leaving the ground, so then I draw, I release before the foot hits the ground, then he doesn't have a chance to brace against me. So we have to remember that when a horse braces against us, that's mostly because our timing was off, or the horse has learned to brace against us out of habit. There. See how he gave his hind quarter that time? Now I just kind of put my hand there and see how he just touched me there. Then I back away. See, I didn't touch him. I let him touch me. Now a lot of times there may be some people that are here, or maybe some people that have worked with me, or maybe see this video later and they say, well, you told me not to let my horse walk up and put his nose on me. Well, sure. There's a little bit of difference sometimes in a young horse that's learning confidence versus an older horse that people just let it walk up to him and push him around and get a little pushy, too nosy there. See, I'm waiting on the hind quarters here. And you see how the little colt has learned to relax? So what's his mom doing? She could care less now, right? And see, I didn't get all bothered about that. And see, a lot of times, there, see how soft that was? See, I never even let him hit the end of the rope that time. What I mean by I didn't let him do it is, when I picked up the slack just barely, he felt that, gave his hind quarter, I let go before he got to the end of it. And see, earlier the mare started pawing and kind of getting a little worried, and then she started banging the gate, so then the wasps came out of the gate, and then she didn't like that, and there's a lot of stuff going on. But you notice what I did about any of that. I noticed it, and I kept doing what I was doing. I stayed focused on the colt, so he could stay focused on what was going on, and then everything gets better through that process. But if we would have tried to go make a big change there and move the mare around, or especially move her too much out of the way or something, that would have made things worse. See, a lot of times, there, see it waiting on the hind quarter. See, this side is a little more sticky, but not a big deal, right? So then, as the horse learns to give his hind quarter, here's what he's learning. What he's learning really is don't brace against pressure. When you feel something on your neck, like that, give to it, like that. You don't have to pull against it. But see, if the first thing I were to do is stop him real hard and try to make him give, then he would have started bracing against me. Instead, I allow him to learn it. I allow him to find it. I give him time to get better. See, now he's starting to give his hind quarter whenever he feels that rope on his neck. So what that means is he's learning to give to that pressure, and pressure equals yield, meaning give your feet, don't lock up and brace against it. So then after we get the hind quarters on both sides, then we start thinking forward. But we don't need to start thinking forward until we get the hind quarters working pretty consistently. There's the hind quarter. And then notice I try to let go and get out of his way before he gets a chance to pull against me. And see, I have people that come to clinics all the time. I have people that, I've got some people that just called me last week, well, 2 weeks ago, and I went and loaded a horse for him that's 12 or 13 years old, and he's never had this stuff done. And basically, they couldn't get him in the trailer, and they're trying to move across the country, so they needed help moving him. So I went down there and had to load him. Well, I started with this kind of stuff with a halter, and of course, none of it was working. So these are the things right here that will set him up for later, whether it's getting in the trailer, whether it's going places you want to go, whether it's standing for the farrier, whether it's getting riding. Everything we're going to do later is getting him ready now. So everything I'm doing now is setting it up. And no matter what happens to him the rest of his life, he'll always have this in there. This will never leave him. Everything the horse ever learns stays with him. So if they learn a bad habit, that stays with them. They learn a good one, that stays with them too. So we just have to try to put it more good than bad. They're going to have some bad ones. They're going to have some days when things don't work out as good. But we just have to kind of keep working and trying to put as many good experiences on top of the bad, and the horse will kind of sort it out as we go. But one thing to take away from this is to remember that horses will never pull on you, horses will never push on you, horses will never lean against you or brace against you unless you teach them how to do that. Now, I've taught lots of horses how to do that throughout my life and career, but I'm making up for it now. Because anybody that's ridden horses for a living like I have, or has worked on ranches, or has used horses and done a lot of things, they're going to make some mistakes. They're going to do some things. See, now the little horse is yawning. trying to let down and trying to relax. And I'm just giving him that time to do that. But anybody that's ridden a lot of horses has made mistakes. Anybody that's tried to figure some of this stuff out has got it wrong a few times. So in that process, I keep trying to learn and kind of keep trying to evolve to go forward. The first time I ever halter broke a horse, it wasn't quite like this. So as I've learned, I've tried to keep improving, and I tried to keep doing things better for the horse. So I hope you guys enjoyed this. The next thing we would do, we're probably not going to do it today. We're just going to kind of move on here, but the next thing we would do is just get a halter on him and do the same thing. So before we leave, I'll just kind of go up here and pet him just a little bit and make sure that he's kind of okay there. But this is kind of a good place to start. And it doesn't really matter whether we do this with a halter or with a rope. We just have to kind of give it a good place to start. Then we go from there. So I make sure that the horse is kind of paying attention. See, I just wait there, and he's like, well, I'm going to brace against that. I say, nope, not this way, not this way, there. He's like, oh, yeah, I forgot for a second. No problem, I just wait. See, he's kind of thinking, how do I get out of this deal? Oh, yeah, that's almost it. See, he gave his shoulders there, not his hind quarters. No problem. I'll just step over here just a little bit. Say, here, what about your hind quarter, like that? And see, I was out of his way before he got done, before he got straight. See, now the horse is straight. He's balanced. So why does this help the horse feel good? Because all this does is allow the horse to get straight and not push against things. When he gets straight, he gets balanced, he feels better. When he gets balanced and feels better, he can learn to relax. Once he learns to relax, then obviously that feels better to him. Then he can associate that with us. Once he associates that with us, see, since he touched me already, then I can kind of go up here, and as long as he's still, I can touch him. But see, I touch him kind of soft. Then see, he gets kind of bothered about it and all these other things. So I just do a little bit. I don't go up there and force myself on him too much if I don't have to. Now, if the colt was sick and we had to doctor him and we had to put some medicine in him or give him some medicine in his mouth or do anything, well, then we'd do some things a little different. We might put him over here between these panels and kind of shove him up there, and then we just softly kind of touch him, and then we try to get him the best we can not to learn to brace against us. Every now and then, before horses even get a chance to learn anything, we already teach them how to be bracy. What I mean by that is we, is humans in general, people that have horses. We teach them how to be bracy sometimes on accident just because we had to get some medicine in them or do something like that. You don't have to teach them to be bracy, but every now and then it happens. So as long as we just keep working, there's the hindquarters. As long as we just keep working at it, the horse will learn to have a little more confidence in what we're doing. So I just kind of wait on him a little here. And I do a little bit. See, he's kind of thinking, well, man, now you're reaching towards me. I don't know if I'm ready for that. No problem. There. See, it's not about me yet. It's about the halter and the rope. Or the lariat rope, whatever it is you have on him. See how he backs away? I let go of him so he can't pull on me. There. Good. So what I'd like to do now is just get to where I can take the rope off of him without him getting too worried about it or without him pulling against me. See, right here he's about to go the wrong way. I just do a little bit there. So I just wait there if I can. I wait there if I can. I wait there if I can for him to give his hind quarter. There. And see, there's the hind quarter. Now I wait there. And he'll figure out through this process, nobody's here to hurt him. But he doesn't know that yet. How would he? There's the hind quarter. There. See, then I'm going to go over here and say, hey, I'm on this side. See, he thought, well, if I go over there, life's better. See, that time he hopped his hindquarters around pretty quick. He's making some changes there. That's a good thing. See, right here, I kind of say, hey, where's your hindquarters at? There. Wait for those hindquarters and leave them alone. Wait for those hindquarters. There. See, I just waited there a second. and he decided to change his mind. But see, I wouldn't have done that when I first put this rope on him, because what would he have done? He would have just reared up more and braced against me. But now that we've got the idea in his head about how to give to things, then we can do a little more there. See, they all kind of change sides a little bit. Once he figures that out, I'll say, here, what about your hind quarter? There. That's a good place to start. There. There. See, I just wait on that hind quarter. Every chance I get. Hind quarter. See, now I'm just going to go over here and see, he keeps thinking, well, why do you keep going in front of me like that? I keep trying to get away. There. Then I just go this way and say, what about your hind quarter? Aha! Now he's like, oh yeah. That's better. There. See, then I just keep saying, here, you can go over there if you want. No problem. But when you feel that rope, you got to give to it. Then there's this side, see? Say, hey, don't forget about this side. There. Good. See, look at the left hind quarter. See how it's braced up against me? That's what I'm waiting on for it to change. The one with the big white sock, this back left one right here. That's what we're waiting on. See how it's braced up, pushing against me? See, I'm waiting for that left hind quarter right there. So I just put a little bit of energy in his body, waited for him to give there. Aha, a little better. All right, and so see, then everything we're doing here, when I go to reach for him here, and I'm going to touch him here in a minute, maybe, there. But when I go to do those things, see right there, the hind quarter, there. Now I go this way. See, he keeps trying to go across in front of me. There. Waiting for the hind quarter. There. Good place to start. See, when I go to reach for him and he thinks, well, man, I got to get out of here, I just offer him a chance to give his hind quarter, which we already established helps the horse get straight, balanced, and relaxed. Why does giving his hind quarter help him relax? Because he learns not to brace against those things like he's doing there. There. See, I just do a little bit to change his mind. Not enough to really bother him, just enough to change his mind. And then he'll figure out through moving his hind quarter and giving his hind quarter that things aren't as bad as he thinks, right? There. Hind quarter. Good. Wait for that hind quarter. There. Now I'm just going to kind of see if I can get over here to this other side for a minute, if he'll let me. See, he wants to kind of keep me out of that other eye. I just wait on him a little bit. Say, hey, I'm going on this side. I'll give him time. There, see, he looks me out of his other eye. He didn't quite want to let me in there, but he's getting closer. See, this is pretty tough for him to let me change from his left eye to his right eye. It's no problem, I just wait. There we go. Now wait for the hind quarter. Now wait for the hind quarter on this side. There. Good. All right. That's pretty good for him. I'm going to take him in this other pen so I can get a little closer to him and get this off him before he gets himself tired. I don't want him tired and hot and sweaty. I don't want him thinking this is a bad thing, right? There we go. See, I got to wait for him to brace. See the left hind quarter? There. Waiting for it to get a little better. See, then he got to pushing again and got himself a little worked up. It's no problem, I just wait. There. There. See him take a look over here? Good place to start. I'll just step him over here and wait for that hind quarter again. There. There's the hind quarter on that side. There's the hind quarter on that side. And we just kind of slowly put a little bit of feel in that rope. And as he learns to give his hind quarter, well, that's the same thing as walking forward. It's just giving his hind quarter forward or giving his hind quarter to the side there. It's a good place to start. Okay, Hank, let's open that gate up and we'll let him walk in there with his mom. Yeah, that was really nice. So I just want to get him in that smaller pen so we can take that rope off of him, because having more places to go. Why don't you lead her back in there? Having more places for the horse to go is just going to give him more of a chance to move away from me, and I'd rather just go ahead and be done for the day, but I have to get him in a spot where I can get that rope off of him, obviously. I mean, somebody's going to get a bargain if they buy the colt and get the rope with it, you know. There. So I just kind of work to getting on this other side a little bit too. So I put that rope up there to stop him from bracing against me. He kind of was like, whoa. It's no problem. Waiting for the hind quarter. Whoop, waiting for the hind quarter. See how he's going sideways against me? I try not to let there. That's a little better. Good. Let's go to this side again. There. Now I'm just going to kind of let him go on down there. Now he's like, well, I just want to turn and look at you. So that's a good thing. Now I got to be able to drive him a little bit too. See? Let him go away from it. All right. So that's a good opportunity to pet him a little bit there as he reaches up there to nurse a little. Don't make a big deal about it, but I'll pet his mother, and right there, as he reaches up there to nurse, I'll pet him and just softly let him kind of figure out that, hey, none of this is bad. It's all good. I just kind of pet him along the way his hair grows. Go down his mane a little bit. And see, there's two different things here that we're working on. One, teaching the horse how to give to that rope. Two, getting the horse where he can let us handle him and let him touch him. Those two things don't always work together in the beginning. Just because you can do one doesn't mean you can necessarily do the other. But we start out with one and we move to the other. I'd rather have one that can kind of give to the rope rather than one that is just gentle. Now this horse, good thing is he's going to be both. You see, instead of me waiting until I could force him to get up there and get that rope and touch him on his ear, touch him right behind his ears and take the rope off of him. I'll just get to where I can pet him like that. Then I'll get the rope off of him like that, let him walk around and through it. And then we have plenty more time to get this horse a little bit further. So for the first time that we touch one, the first time that we put a rope on one and teach him the basics of how to give to that rope, how to give to that pressure, that's a pretty good day for him. And then the next piece, we'll come out here and we'll put a halter on him and we'll kind of go from there. And at least that way we kind of have a colt that is prepared to go forward without understanding how to brace against people first. And that's kind of important for the rest of his life. That's going to be something he's got to know. So, okay, thank you guys for coming, and thank you to MLS Tubbs for helping us get up here, and the Spader Ranch, and Brett and Sherry and Jared and Alyssa, and look forward to seeing you guys at the sale a month from today. Well, thank you guys for watching the little halter breaking demo we did today and working with the young colt. So I look forward to being at the sale in a month. So the sale is August 26th in Kansas City, Kansas, and what we're going to be doing there, besides the auction, obviously in the afternoon, we have a ranch horse competition that starts at 9 a.m. And then right after that, I'll be doing a demonstration at noon for about an hour or so and just kind of show some people some things that we do working horses. And then after that, we're going to have it open for about an hour for people to come and ride with me. And you can contact me at calmiddleton.com, or you can talk to Brett at spaderranch.com. And you can talk to us about getting in there and riding with me in the clinic. So what we're going to do in that clinic is I'm just going to help the different people that want to work and kind of help them understand how to get their horses a little bit more balanced and how to help the horse kind of have a little better understanding of what's going on with the horse's riders and the hands and the feet of the rider and how all that's going to work together. So the things that we try to do when I help people with their horsemanship at the clinics that I do, the demonstrations I do, is talk about practical things that actually make sense to the horse. So some people are interested in showing, some people are interested in certain competitions and certain things, and that's all great. Those are some of the things I want to help you kind of prepare for. And a lot of people are just interested in having a horse to ride, whether it be on the ranch or trail riding a little bit. And I just want to help people have a better understanding so them and their horses can be a little safer and go on down the road. So hope I see you there, August 26th.
I'm Jeff Onslinger with Mid-Continent Livestock Supplements. We're proud to be a part of the Spader Ranch's horse sale and part of their program that they use on their ranch every year. So they've been feeding our tubs religiously for several years now, and they've seen better performance of their horses, helping to get the colts up in shape, get them slicked off and looking good before the sale. Our tubs, we've got two different tubs. We've got a mineral tub that contains Clarifly to help with the feed-through flight control on horse flies, house flies, stable flies, horn flies. It also contains a product called Selmanax. It's going to work with overall gut health in the horse and help keep your horse healthy when you're hauling it up and down the road. And we've also got a protein-based tub. It's going to help when pastures get short, when in the wintertime when you just need a little extra kick of protein. They've also got Aspergillus oryzae in the tubs, which is going to help them to digest and utilize the forage that they're getting a whole lot better. So if you need more information, get hold of us at mlstubs.com, or you can call me at 816-244-7340.